Hello, everybody. I am Lori Jovest with PopSpeed Digital Marketing, and this is our weekly Hot Take Tuesday LinkedIn Live session. And we'd love to talk about, what's happening in social media, what's happening in corporate America, just what's happening in the world as it relates to our business and potentially your business too. So I've got with me today Kylie Metcalf and Sarah Shakatano. Don't try to spell that. It's got a lot of C's and A's and all kinds of different letters in it. So she goes by Sarah Shock.
Yep.
And Kylie is one of our long-term employees, and Sarah is a newbie that's part-time at the moment. And just to give you a little bit of background, today we're going to talk about the 4-day work week. And we find it really intriguing as a small digital marketing shop because we are those people that can work at home. And as a former worker bee office person, I remember the days of getting up at 6:30, getting ready for work, running your kid to school, running to the office, being there by 8:30, having the meetings, being in the kitchen running around all day, going to appointments, and collapsing at home on the couch at 8 or 9 o'clock at night when you'd taken care of the family and you were exhausted. And basically 5 days a week you were exhausted and you were mentally, obviously it's very challenging, I think, these days to be on constantly from 7 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night when you go home. And we know that there's a different way. And what I've been really intrigued with as a business owner is the idea of the 4-day work week. The pandemic changed a lot of things. And had you asked me 5 years ago if I would have an organization that is fully remote with employees in 3 different states and virtual meetings every day, and pretty much weeks go by where I don't necessarily have to even leave the house for business, I would have told you were nuts because we didn't know this was even possible. So last week, maybe the week before, a study came out about the 4-day work week. And I started seeing just a little bit about it here and there. And the statistic that really stuck out for me, and Kylie helped me with this, was that over 80% of the companies that took part in a 4-day work week research project decided to continue it. And that's really intriguing. So studies show that it works. And what it requires is accountability, communication, and collaboration. We've mastered that. I really do feel like we've mastered that as an organization. We have a morning huddle every morning at 9:30, 4 days a week. We have, we're talking to each other all day long. We have a very detailed project management system. I mean, it's a different way of working, but that 4-day work week is really intriguing to me. Ladies, what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that what you said, Lori, is like really hits the nail on the head. I think the pandemic kind of changed everything. I think in response to it, for the first time ever, people were in a position where they were either jobless or working from home. And I think before that, it's not something people thought about very often. So, in any case, um, a lot of employees had to take kind of a long, hard look at what their professional future would look like. And I think that kind of created this new era where keeping employees happy is very important, almost more important than keeping bosses happy, because you'd want to limit turnover. Obviously, everybody does. And with that in mind, people prioritize work life balance. They want their emotional wellness at home, in their family life, in their personal life to be thriving and really fulfilling. And for us, it's something that I think we've prioritized work life balance from day one, since Lori, you and Ron started PopSpeed, and then we grew from 2 to 3. Having that work life balance, being remote fully, has always been super important. And then shortly after that, when we kind of threw summer Fridays into the mix, which for those who don't know, our summer Fridays are between Memorial Day and Labor Day. We stack our hours a little bit early on in the week. So by Fridays, we're logged off pretty much early afternoon. So the more we talk about the 4-day work week, the more I think it becomes interesting to all of us. And it's something that I think, moving forward, we're really considering. So it'll be an interesting discussion today.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Laura, you're muted, by the way. Welcome back.
Sarah brings a really interesting perspective because she just recently was doing, has a two-parent household with two kids, and 40-hour work weeks for both parents is grueling, isn't it?
It was, especially so, right after COVID, I thought being in a remote work was amazing. And I was like, this is everything that I asked for. I get to go, stay home. I live in Pennsylvania now, but before this, I was in California. So if you're familiar with this thing called a 405, it's basically
Oh.
sitting in a traffic and you just want to go maybe 3 miles. And, legend says that I'm still stuck in the traffic over there because it never moves.
You're still out. You're
And
still out there.
I'm
Right.
still out. My soul is still out there. I think I never recovered that part of that, my soul that I left in California. But pre and post to work, if you're stuck in that traffic for like, I'm not even joking, 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes if it's really bad, and that's like a chunk of your life that's already taken. And by the time you get home,
Yeah.
the kids are asleep, and it really sucked. So me personally, when I first started a remote job back in I think it was 2021, I thought it was really good, but quickly realized how that can also lead to overworking as well, because now that you're home, the expectation was you're available every day and every moment of your life. I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a 40-hour as a contract. Yes, it was a 40-hour, but it quickly led to 70-hour and then max 100-hour a week that I was
Oh
doing.
gosh.
Oh,
And that
yeah.
was the same with my husband, Steve. He's also a remote worker. So combined, we were about 200 hours a week, still
Mhm.
with two kids. And at some point, I said, wait a minute. When was the last time I actually sat down and spent time with my kids? And I thought this was going to be it.
Yeah.
Um, so I actually never had any opportunity to do a 4-day work week until we mentioned it here. So I'm very excited to see how it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think that we have a bit of an advantage in that I started this company later in life. I've been through like 16 different bosses. I've had the one that expects to be able to talk to you for an hour while they drive home in rush hour traffic, and they want to talk to you at 7 o'clock at night about what's on their mind. And
Yep.
I've had the bosses that you it's a hard 8 unless they ask you to work overtime, in which case the hours just go out. It's out the window. They don't really care.
Yeah.
And I decided when we started this business that if I couldn't pay people a living wage, if I couldn't give them their personal lives, and if I wasn't cognizant of the value of our team in serving our customers, we were not going to be successful. And I knew that, and that I wouldn't be able to attract and retain the best talent if I didn't pay attention to the things that allowed those people that are on our team to prioritize work life balance. And work
Mhm.
life balance is more than just working 40 and going home at 5. It's the extra time that you get that has you feeling rested and relaxed and ready for the work week. So we can
Mhm.
go hard. We go hard Monday through Thursday. And then when it comes to Friday, we have what we call slow Fridays. No meetings if we don't have to have them. If a
Mhm.
client wants a meeting, we are 100% there. If not, we don't have any, we try to avoid any unnecessary scheduling of meetings on Friday so we can wrap up
Mhm.
the week and go into the weekend with some peace and that kind of thing. But there's a lot of statistics to back up the 4-hour week work week too, or 4-day work week,
Mhm.
beyond just my warm and fuzzy feelings about it. So
Right.
Kylie, dig into those a little bit. Tell us what the statistics told us
Yeah,
from the
there
4-day
there
work
are
week.
a lot. Yeah, so bear with me because there's a lot of numbers I'm going to throw at you here. But um so studies show that the bonus weekday or weekend day increases productivity, both physical and mental health, and if you really think about it, reduces CO2 emissions too. So people that have worked the
See?
4-day model were ultimately happier, less tired, more relaxed, and more satisfied with their personal lives. So let's dig into the numbers. From participating companies from that study Lori mentioned earlier, published by the World Economic Forum, 49% of companies described the transition as smooth, 29% described it as extremely smooth. 86% of these companies said it was likely that they would implement the 4-day model outside of the study, which is really interesting because keep in mind, like most business leaders wouldn't consider this a viable option unless they felt like the risk was really worth the reward of happier, more productive people. And even in terms of revenue, there was a separate study, the one cited by the Washington Post here, a separate study that indicated when compared to the same time frame of years prior, revenue had increased by 35% on average and employee turnover was down. And now let's talk about how it impacted employees. So more than 90% of participants indicated that they would want to stick with the 4-day work week. They measured declines in stress, burnout, and work/family conflicts. The impact was so incredible that 15% of participating employees said that no amount of money would convince them to return to 5 days.
Wow.
1/3 of participants, really, 1/3 of participants said it would require a 26 to 50% pay increase, and 8% said it would require at least 50% raise in pay.
Wow.
That's really interesting.
In the Washington Post article, an employee named Michelle was quoted as saying, "It feels like I can breathe. It feels like I'm not constantly behind with my family life and feeling guilty and like squashing all of the jobs and errands and everything into 2 days." So Sarah, I know, we were talking about it. It's just, I mean, crazy numbers. And when you look at it, of course, you know, people working 1 day less, you think about it, it's going to make anybody happy. But I think what's more interesting to me is increases in productivity and the fact that companies and organizations are, 86% of them want to carry on with it.
Yeah.
I feel like that has to say something because I think right now we're in this era where it's such a battle. You have companies and leaders like ours where work-life balance and, the mental health of your employees is so important. But then you have others where, my people can't work remote because then I can't micromanage and see everything they're doing all day. So I think really, for 86% of companies to say that they would carry on with this, I think that stat alone says to me that it works. So it's very interesting.
And to me, the biggest issue is the lack of trust of the leadership team with their teams. They don't trust their people. And I read some research recently that there are more keystroke trackers installed on employee computers than there ever has been.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You have time to I guess there are places that people work where you've got a huge team of people. Maybe it's customer service, maybe it's some kind of productivity thing, and you want to make sure they're using their computer as often as they can. But if you can't trust your team, you have hired the wrong people. You need to look into your hiring practices, your training practices, and your leadership practices.
Right.
And I guess especially in because we are in a creative industry and we do creative things on a daily basis. And often it's not about keystrokes or anything else. It's, for example, I always tell people, I'm sitting down right now and I feel it seems like I'm not doing anything, but no, I'm actually thinking. And that's
my brain is working hard.
Exactly, right. So it's it's not just about that one thing. It's more than that. And I think it's just so scary that the company would try to define that with a certain type of mold that you got to fit in,
Yeah.
And what I think is pretty interesting too is that you can experiment. You can do something for 90 days, or you can and you can set up the safety measures. Like, to me, we're actually planning on experimenting with a 4-day work week starting this summer. And what I love about it is we're going to do it over the summer, and then we're going to go back to summer Fridays starting in the fall. because to me, giving people the extra time when they can actually go outside. We're in Michigan, so, we're in Michigan. Sarah's in Pennsylvania. We're all in the colder climates. Being able to really enjoy that outside time during the summer makes it easier to get through the winter. So we're actually going to experiment with this, but we will not be closed on Friday. There are ways that you can allow, you can put someone on, like they do in the medical community, you put somebody on call so that everybody knows if you need something. Everybody's emails say, hey, Sarah's on call for today. If you need us, let us know. And everybody on the team knows that if a client needs us on a Friday, we are there. And that is what will help this work. So we're going to experiment with it this summer. If you are a client, oh, please call me on a Friday. It's okay. However, if you have a meeting that we need to dig in deep and we need the whole team, we can do that on Thursday, or we can wait till the following Monday. And when we're all on, we all have full attention. We're well rested, and we're feeling really committed to the work because we're not burned out. Sarah, I am sure you know the meaning of the word burnt. The word's burned out, right?
Oof. Yeah, I've been through a actual diagnosed burnout twice in my life, and every time, it's kind of like spraining your ankle. It gets longer every time you get it. So the first burnout I actually lasted about a year. And second one was double that, and obviously it depends on people, but once you get it, it's kind of like that cough that you can't get out of your system. It just lingers. You don't want to get there.
Yeah, seriously. And I have to say, one of the reasons I'm so committed to it, to giving it a try over the summer, is because when my son was born, I was among the privileged few. I will say there's privilege that comes with this, and we need to honor that. We need to understand that we are privileged that we can even consider a 4-day work week. We work really hard, so we've earned it. But when I was a new parent, I decided that I needed 3 days at home a week to handle, the responsibilities of being a good parent to my infant and my toddler. And I worked 4 days a week, and it was delightful. I mean, it was, I was so committed. And who doesn't get 10 times as much work the week before they go on vacation?
Right.
Everybody, right? I mean, that's kind of how it works. If you know you got that day off coming, you're going to work a little harder, get a little bit more done, be a little more committed, and take that Friday with a clear head, knowing that you accomplished everything you needed to accomplish. So we're publicly announcing that we're doing it starting on Memorial Day through Labor Day. And I have an incredible team. And in order to keep that incredible team happy, I'm willing to do a lot of different things. So that's what we have for you today. Anything else to add, ladies, before we log off?
No, I think we covered it. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
We would love to hear your thoughts. If you are a client and that upsets you, please get in touch with me. I promise you, it will not affect the work that we do for you at all. I think you'll get better work because we'll all be rested, relaxed, and recharged on Monday morning, ready to hit the ground running. So that's what we have. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody in our audience. And as always, of course, reach out to us if we can assist you with your digital marketing. PopSpeedDigital.com is our website, and I am an open networker on LinkedIn, as well as Kylie and Sarah are too. So get in touch with us, connect with us, and we're happy to help you with your digital marketing too, even if we only work 4 days a week in the summer. So that's what we have. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.